Are you looking for Selenium interview questions? Then you are at the right place. In this video, I'll discuss some intermediate level Selenium interview questions and I'll try to show you practically, not just the theoretical part. I'm Gaurav Khurana. I have experience of 15 years in the software testing industry. So hope you have a good learning going through the questions that we have prepared. So let's begin. So these are some intermediate level questions. So the first question is how to handle dynamic elements, right? So there are some elements which keep on changing, right? So let's say there is some number that get added after it. For example, there is an ID and there is some number, random number which get added at the end of it, right? So you cannot search it directly because every time it is different and you don't know. So in those cases we use contains or starts with, right? Or something like, again here you have mentioned that the text can contain welcome, right? So all this way will help you to handle dynamic elements. It's an important question, right? And also there are things like this which you can use as a symbol, right? So if you use this symbol, these symbols can also help you. So instead of writing like this, you can do like this. So these things can only help you in locating those elements because directly you cannot do that. Moving on to the next question. So how to handle multiple windows? Let me first show you that what multiple window is, right? So I've just opened a sample site. So if I click on this, click here, you will see that another window is opening, right? So you see that the different tabs get open if we open on a particular site. So and I want to validate something on this window and then come back to this window. So how can we do that? So there is a simple way of doing that. We have something called as get window handle, and you see their handles are there, right? So why we do this? So that we know we can get the value which is a string of your current window wherever you are. Let's say you are on window 1, or we can call it tab 1 as it is a browser, right? And let's say you clicked on something and 3 different windows got open, right? So all those handles we can get it using this get window handles, and it will get us all of the handles. This is the way you can handle multiple windows. And sometimes people ask this also, that how you will go back to the previous one, right? So just to keep the parent handle, the main window, the main site that you are testing, we do it initially, right? So that we can switch it back to the main window. Moving on. So this is a very important question. It can be asked in various ways. Like let's say somebody will ask that our pipeline take 10 hours. How can we make it 5 hours, right? What are the factors, right? So this is one of the most important thing that people sometimes forget, that in the starting of creating their framework and later on they have to pay the timings, right? Like the pipeline takes overnight and all of that, right? So we can do that by using parallelism. And how parallelism can be achieved in test-ng, you can set this as parallel equal to test, right? And I'll show you in a repo that I have created, right? So these are the test.ng file you must have seen, right? So here if you see that I have put parallel equal to methods, right, and thread count equal to 3. So here we can decide that how many parallel threads we want, right? And another important factor is, just mentioning here will not make everything automagically in parallelism, right? So you have to take care of other aspects as well. For example, WebDriver factory, right, where I am creating a Chrome driver. So don't create a static Chrome driver, right? So what will happen is that then that would be used across test, and one test can close another one, right? So this is very important. So if you see that I am every time creating a new driver for every test, right? So what will happen is that one driver or one browser instance will not interfere with the other one, right? So those factors are also important that you should know for achieving parallelism. Right, now the other important thing comes is that how do you do data driven framework, right? So there is something called comes as SOC, separation of concern, right? That we give different responsibility to different stuff, right? So your test and test data should be separate, right? Because I have seen people that they put username and password hard coded thinking that okay, this will remain same, right? But across environments and with different time there will be different users and stuff that would be coming, right? So what ideally we should do is we should create test data separately. So if you see that in this project structure, there is a test data folder and there is a JSON file created and in tests. But so who will do the supply of data, right? So then you create a utility. So what it will do is it will read this data and it can provide to this. So in this class we will call this utility and pass whatever parameter we need, and so we get it, right? So this way we can achieve data driven framework, right, in Selenium. And let me show you as well that how I have implemented it, right? So here if you see, there is a test data utility that has been created which can read test data, right? So it can load JSON data. So there are various functions that you want the data as a map, as a value, right? So many functions based on your requirement you can create that how it is needed, right? So here is an example. So if you see here, I am using this test data, right, which I have put it in my before method, right? So using test data utility we are getting this data google test data.json, which is kept here under the test data folder as I showed you, and then we are getting this page validation, and inside that we are getting all these elements, right? So this way we can do the test, right? So here is the test data object, we got page validation expected, and then we are checking that whether all these things are present on the page or not. So this way you can achieve the data driven framework in Selenium. Right, now comes another question, that which design pattern you are using, right? So be aware about these keywords and all. You might be doing already stuff, but you might not be aware sometimes about these keywords, right? So what many people do is that, and it's like good thing that and this is an example using Python, right? But it will remain same across languages. I'm just telling you because this is py file, right? So what we do is for each page we create a class, right? And that class will store whatever locators, right, and whatever functions that are related to on that page, right? So that whosoever need it, they can create a class, create an object of this class and call that particular methods, right? And all these things are not related in this question, but yeah, I have shown you earlier that in test we keep the test, right? Utilities we create for data driven or driver factory or helper or config, right? All of this, let me show you in repo as well, all this stuff. So if you see here, I have created a Google right, and folder, and there are two things, Google homepage and Google search result page, right? So what is the difference here? So let's say if I open Google homepage, this is the Google homepage and it has certain things that are coming in the below, right? You see that and there are some things on the top, header, footer, all these things are coming, and this page is having a Google logo and search, and I am feeling lucky button. Let's say I am search for Gaurav Khurana, right, who is a tester, right? So now this is a separate page which got loaded, right? So because this page has nothing to do with the previous page, it does not have those buttons which were coming earlier, right? So what we do generally is we create a page, Google homepage, and then Google results page, which is having the other options, right? This result is there. So when we create like this, right, to easily maintain a framework and all, that is called as page object model. So similar thing I have done here, right? If you see Google homepage, on top generally we keep the locators that are there, right? We keep mostly private, right? So, and if you see, there are function below, right? This was constructor, let's say navigate to Google and is page loaded. So all of that we have some of the functions, click Google search, we have written over here, right? And in search results page, what we are interested in, what are the results that are coming, right? So, and if some things are common, we can create a common class, right, where header and footer and all those things can be put, so that if there are 100 pages in your framework, you don't need to create 100 classes, right? That is very difficult to maintain. So these are the 5 questions that we have prepared in the intermediate level. So hope you like it, and do watch and subscribe to this channel to keep getting informative videos. Thank you.